I went to college for cinema, and back during my class on screenwriting, the thing that always got me writing was getting out of my dorm and going anywhere else. A coffee shop, the library, anything was better than just sticking in my dorm. Unfortunately, I had two laptops that were on complete different sides of the spectrum. One was a hefty gaming laptop that was cumbersome to take around and even more cumbersome to plug in. The other was a lightweight Windows laptop that was old and only kept alive through necromancy and installing Linux. The second laptop was a better option, but both its age and running Linux meant that any choice of screenwriting software would be pretty limited. That's when I discovered Fountain. Fountain isn't an app. It isn't even really a file format. It's a simple set of straightforward rules for writing a screenplay in plain text. Its website attributes its main creators as John August, Nima Yousefi, and Stu Maschwitz. John August is a well-known screenwriter and host of Script Notes podcast, which is how I first heard of him. And Nima Yousefi is the software arm of John August's empire. Together, they've made Courier Prime, a new and improved version of the Courier font the screenplays are written in. They've also made Highland, a full-fledged screenwriting app that can both import and export Fountain files. They were working together on something called scripts, a format that could be used to insert parts of screenplays into a website without needing to embed an image or PDF. Then there's Stu Maschwitz, the co-creator of the screenwriting app Slugline. He's also a champion of accessible filmmaking. He's published a book on budget filmmaking and posts tutorials on his website prolos.com. Stu was working on something called Screenplay Markdown. It was going to use Markdown to write and archive full-length scripts as opposed to excerpts like scripts. Markdown is a markup language that's designed to not only look good once interpreted by a computer, but be perfectly human-readable in its plain text form. They discovered that they were working on similar projects to make screenplays usable in plain text and began collaborating with others to make Fountain. Fountain keeps a lot of what Markdown was created for. It allows you to easily write screenplays that look like screenplays in plain text. And this does some amazing things. While I had this screenwriting class, my main focus on cinema was video editing. And the first tip they give you while editing is to familiarize yourself with the software. You want to learn the shortcuts or make your own so that editing becomes as frictionless as possible. You want to get as close as you can to working at the speed of thought. Writing's the same way. There's another app I use called the Most Dangerous Writing app. It deletes what you're working on if you take a break for too long. And this is useful to me because it helps me to get words on the page. I'm not bogged down worrying about formatting just because I need to keep writing. And I can worry about the formatting later. With Fountain, you don't need to make sure that each line is formatted correctly through a bunch of drop-down menus. There's no quirks of software to use. You just write. And once you learn how to use it, you can write anywhere. The Notes app on your phone, an email or text message, or something meant for writing like Google Docs. Anything that takes plain text, you can write Fountain in it, and it'll turn that into a screenplay. This means that wherever you are, whatever you have, you can write a scene. And not just you, but the people you're working with too. My college does a 48-hour film festival every year. When time is of the essence, being able to just send a Google Doc to my team that we can all look at and collaborate together on was huge. The whole team was able to look at the screenplay on whatever device they had. Now that I've shown you why I think you should use Fountain, let's get into how to use it. I'll use one of my scripts from those 48-hour film festivals. The golden rule of Fountain is simple. Make it look like a screenplay. The first thing you'll notice if you're familiar with screenplays is that this looks like one. You can pull this up on set and easily see everything you needed to see. The first thing we'll start off with is the scene heading, or slug line. Fountain sees the line starting with interior or exterior, and it knows to make it a scene heading. These extra asterisks and underlines are from using Markdown formatting to know that it should be marked as a bold and underlined line. Next up, we have an action line. This one couldn't be easier. Fountain sees that it doesn't follow any of the other rules that it has so far, so it'll just mark it down however it actually comes as an action line. Next we have characters. If a line is in all caps and has a blank line before it and not a blank line after it, then Fountain is going to read it as a character. Now characters can also include tags like off-screen or voiceover, and those don't need to be capitalized, and Fountain will keep them and know what to do with them. Dialogue is similarly easy. If it's the line immediately after a character or parenthetical, Fountain's going to make it dialogue. And then finally we have transitions. If a line is in all caps and ends in 2, then Fountain knows that it's going to be a scene transition. Just like that, we've got a proper screenplay. All the usual parts of formatting are done. But how do we turn it into something that looks like a proper screenplay? Like I've said, there are screenplay apps that use Fountain, like Highland or Slugline, but this all came from me wanting to find an alternative, so downloading one of those apps just for final formatting wouldn't work. That's where AfterWriting.com comes in. It's an app I found on Fountain's website. I usually just copy the text from Google Docs, paste it in, make sure that I didn't make any mistakes in formatting, and then I have a proper screenplay. You can even save a version of the website to your computer so you can use it offline. With just these things, we're able to write a fantastic looking screenplay without needing to be bogged down by the interface or cost of professional screenwriting software. All we have to do is write, follow some basic rules, and Fountain's able to do the rest. Fountain's got you covered for 99% of what you need to do, but it doesn't shy away from being technical either. If Fountain isn't interpreting an element of a screenplay the way you'd like, you can just add a special character to the beginning of that line, and Fountain will know to read it a certain way. So if, for example, your action line meets another criteria, you can just add an exclamation point to the beginning of the line, and Fountain will know to make it an action line. And while it's probably not that impressive, the fact that Fountain can do dual dialogue, something that I've only used once, means a lot to me. Every single bit of formatting can be forced within Fountain. You can make your screenplay look exactly how you want it to. I don't know that Fountain is going to be able to cover every specific situation you need. Maybe for you, a bigger, badder screenwriting program is going to be worth it. But for me, it was the perfect tool. It's allowed me to write more and to keep my focus on what I'm writing. I really appreciate Fountain and tools like it. Things that make filmmaking and creativity more accessible. There's so much out there at your fingertips. Even with all the products that exist, there are all these free tools that can help you be creative. And I think that's really cool.